Hello everyone, welcome to a video by the Nevada State College Writing Center on prioritizing in your writing assignment. My name is Eduardo, and in this video we're going to be talking about different things and aspects to consider either when you're first approaching your writing assignments or you're thinking about revising. So one of the first things to start to consider when thinking about how to prioritize for your writing assignment or how to approach it is what's important. And that can actually mean a lot of different things. So one of the first things that can help indicate what's important is, does your prompt indicate a purpose? So sometimes writing assignments will specifically state that the purpose of this assignment is for you to learn X or Y. That may mean that it has you focus more on exploring an idea instead of arguing for something or reaching a definitive answer. And so that can help you understand maybe where to go more with the assignment. If it's for exploring, maybe it's more important to spend time on expanding your ideas instead of wrapping them all up into a conclusion or thinking about how to reach a definitive endpoint, right? Typically something like that could be for like a reflection, right? Another area that could be indicated as the purpose is maybe it is meant to be very specific and have a concrete answer at the end. And so again, that can help us understand where to take the assignment, but also how to approach it. Another area that could be helpful for understanding what's important is the rubric that shows point values. So if the introduction section shows that, or if the rubric shows that the introduction section is 25% of the points for the assignment, that lets me know that the introduction is potentially something that's very important. And that lets me know that maybe I should spend some more time working on my introduction. And of course, that can be for different areas and different aspects, right? But again, showing those point values or looking to see if you have a rubric that shows point values can also help in thinking about where to approach an assignment or what to prioritize. Another area and thing to consider is, has your professor mentioned something that they find valuable? So is it in class that they mention that they really focus on organization? Maybe that's not reflective in the prompt, but having heard them say that or see them say that in class can also help you get an understanding about how the professor is approaching the assignment, right? Similarly, maybe they say something in an email about the assignment saying, hey, watch out for this area here, right? Again, that lets you know that maybe students in the past have had issues with that area, and maybe that area takes a little bit longer, and maybe that area should have a little bit more time designated for it. Another thing to consider, and is also very important to consider, is what are you interested in, or what are you wanting to work on, right? You know yourself best. You know what works for you or what doesn't work for you, what typically takes longer time for you to work on, um, and you know what your strengths are, right? I know that if for me, it takes me a long time to get through my introductions, right? And so I always want to spend a good amount of time in my introduction, because I know that if I wait till the end to write my introduction, it's never going to get written because I may run out of time. And so I want to make sure to spend that time earlier on, right? On the other hand, maybe you know that you're pretty good at writing an introduction. And so maybe you actually do that at the beginning to kind of get it out of the way, right? This can work for different areas of the paper. I just used the introduction as an example. But the important thing here is to consider, what are you interested in or wanting to work on, right? And having an understanding of that in combination with these other aspects, such as the prompt or your professor's comments or the rubric, can really help you understand how to approach or where to revise, or how to revise for your particular assignment. So another area to consider when thinking about how to prioritize your assignment is, how long will something take? So consider how long it may take to revise for different areas. So maybe revising for your main argument and ideas is going to take a while, because you actually have to look through and think about how to revise your entire piece of paper, or your entire writing assignment, instead of just one section, right? So that may take longer than, say, focusing on just formatting. If you're focusing just on formatting, maybe it's not going to take that long because you just have to focus on those areas that you had citations, right? Again, this may look differently for different people. Maybe revising for formatting takes you a bit of time because you want to make sure that everything is correct. So just thinking about, again, your own positioning, your own experience, but what takes you what takes you longer to revise for, what different areas take different amounts of your time. Next is, are you giving yourself enough time for different stages and revision? So are you thinking about how to plan out your process, or are you just kind of going through it? Thinking about how to plan out your process can be very beneficial to approaching your writing assignment, right? Knowing that maybe you want to save formatting for the end can help you understand that, okay, so now you're just focusing on your main argument idea, right? And it can really help you, kind of like the name of this video, prioritize on different aspects, right? And so especially if, say, like your main argument or ideas is worth a lot of points, or it's the purpose of your assignment, right? Taking the time and setting the time to focus on that can be very beneficial. Next, something to consider is, what has your process looked like in the past? Again, you know yourself the best. In the past, what have you found yourself taking the most time on? What have you found yourself really going through quickly, right? And what did that work out in the end, right? Was that helpful? Maybe last time it took you a good bit to write your thesis, and it actually came down to the deadline of turning it in, and you wish you had more time spending on it, or you wish you had more time to spend on it. And so maybe focusing on your thesis this time around is something to consider, right? So thinking about what has worked or hasn't worked in the past in terms of timeline and working on those different areas. And again, that can help inform some of these other questions and things to consider. And so the next area is to then just think about, okay, well, are there any additional resources that can also help you talk through or work through prioritizing your assignment? So first off, of course, you can always contact your professor. They're going to know the assignment best. They're going to know its purpose, and they may even know a little bit about your writing based upon prior writing that you may have turned in. So you can talk to them or send them an email about, hey, you can even probably just ask, like, is it worth focusing more so on this over this for my early stages of my writing process, right? Another thing too is you can always reach out to a peer from class, right? If you're finding yourself having writer's block and unable to work through a certain stage or a certain aspect of the writing, right? Reaching out to someone, asking them, hey, what did you focus on here? Or hey, how did you approach this area, right? Typically that can help you think of if that strategy may work for you, or maybe doing something different from what they're doing. But again, just seeing what they're doing can also be beneficial. And then lastly, of course, you can always book an appointment with the Writing Center online. We are still available for online appointments, and so we can definitely help you work through that process, help you brainstorm a sort of game plan for approaching your writing. If you're confused about your prompt, we can take a look at that and we can talk through that. So now the rest of this video is going to be walking through what that sort of process looks like to make an appointment. So once you log into your Canvas page, on the left-hand side, you should see a button that says Resources. Once you go ahead and click on that, a window will appear. That window will look something like this. And on there, you'll see something that says Academic Resources. On the last bullet point on that one, we'll say a Writing Center. So if you go ahead and click on that, that'll take you to our Writing Center splash page. And then once on there, you can either click on the left-hand side underneath Home, the third option, it says Online Sessions, or underneath the image of Nevada State College on the right side of it, you can click on Online Sessions as well there. They both take you to the same page. And then once there, you can go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of the page and then click on the click here to make an appointment. If you're still confused by that point about making an appointment or confused about the different aspects of making an appointment, on that page there's also a video that walks through that process as well. And so this video, like I said, was mostly focusing on different aspects and things to consider. At the end of the day, for yourself or for different people, it's going to look differently on how we approach or prioritize a writing assignment. And that may even look differently based on the writing assignment or the class, right? Or maybe even the day that it is. But having these things to consider hopefully should be beneficial in thinking about the different things to think about that could impact your writing process. And so, of course, if you need any more assistance, you can contact the Writing Center. Our email is listed here. The email is writingcenter@nsc.edu. We also have our phone number here. Our phone number is 702-992-2750. You can feel free to contact us through here, and if you need any assistance in terms of making an appointment or have questions about this sort of process. So hopefully this was helpful. Have a great day.